phone books for Bobby. Hey, that's the B-roll.
You got a booster
That's
seat.
the B-roll.
Dude, my sister sits on 2 phone books when she drives.
Nobody has to hear behind the camera.
She's this tall.
Evolution of Kansas City Airsoft. Where it started, where it's at now, where it's going. Go ahead, man.
Well, you've been in it longer than I have, but I've only been playing for 6 years. It started out just me going to my Mako at the farm back in the old days in Lawson, just dicking around. Then we went to CMA. I mean, we grew from there, but as far as, you know, the actual KC community, you've been in and around longer than I have.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time. We started at, for the Kansas City guys that might know, I'll drop a couple names. We started out playing at Jaggers a long time ago. Yeah, weird, man. And that's before the Kansas City Airsoft Association was put together. We just kind of shot out emails, man. There was an email list. If you wanted to play, you were on that list. You got the email, you showed up or you didn't. That was it. Kind of turned into Kansas City Airsoft. And
I just showed up.
yeah.
I caught wind of the games and I just showed up.
Right. And then here we are, man. About 15 years later.
And we both have fields.
Both have fields, man. Things are going good. Bobby's got the Mac up in Lawson, awesome outfield. I got the indoor thing kicking off down in North Kansas City.
Check it out.
I don't have a field.
He's got my sister though.
I've got a sister.
Fair trade.
If you
That's
ever,
a fair trade.
If he ever preaches bro code, man, just
Wow. Yeah, so that's about it, man. As far as the future, do you got kind of any plans as far as where you're going, expansions,
yeah.
future
I
plans?
mean, as soon as everything starts taking off more and more. I mean, we've been April will be officially a year since we've opened up.
Awesome.
So as soon as we start, you know, getting more flow going on, more people, more attendance, things like that, we got a lot of plans for expansion. Building up the back acreage, it's currently not built up, and things like that.
Right.
A couple 2-story buildings.
No, I mean even before this winter,
Mhm.
during the off season, you guys have done some building.
Yeah,
up
we
there,
did
too.
do some building. We spent a lot of the money that came in from the MAC and built some buildings on the east and west side of the field, the courtyards there.
Right.
Kind of just improve areas of the field that weren't, you know, more or less playable before, and make them more playable now. So.
Very cool, man. With Intrigue, things are going good. We're in our 2nd month now. I know it kind of seems like it's been longer. Maybe that's because there's so much delay getting it going, man.
Good old Kansas City.
I mean, like,
inspections.
we've been there for like a year now, but, you know, we've actually been open to the public for about 2 months now. There's an additional 30,000 square feet that we can move into, so, you know, as long as everything keeps going steady, yeah, exactly, keeps going awesome, we'll open up the field even more, man, so make it a monster inside.
For sure.
I'm gonna do more videos.
Bullshit. Can you put a promise on that?
Yeah.
Can we get something?
Yeah.
Actually.
I've got some ideas, but I've gotten lazy, but I'll make more videos. I'm kind of a chair softer, dude.
A little bit.
That's true.
Just a little bit.
Let's talk about video games. What's your favorite video game right now?
Favorite video game right now? I like to say that I'm a Battlefield guy, but I upgraded to the Xbox One, and Battlefield 4 is kind of shit. Bad.
Bad.
It's kind of bad. There's a lot of glitches, hard to find a game.
Really?
So I've kind of gotten distraught with Battlefield. I'm really, at heart, I'm a Rainbow Six player. Rainbow Six
fancy.
Vegas.
Right.
I never really got
Vegas
into
2. You can be such a gear whore.
Vegas one. I remember the days when I graduated high school and we'd play Casino Vault. You know, I'd have the Spaz 12 shotgun. We'd just go 19-0, 20-0. Those were the good old days.
Hey, drop the controller and play airsoft.
Why are you talking, new kid?
Alright, so hey, while we're on the topic of video games, do you guys think it's fair to say that for the most part, especially Milsimers, but airsofters in general, lean more towards Battlefield than they do to Call of Duty? Because there's kind of a divide between those two groups of video game players.
I think it's a coin flip.
Really?
I mean, there is that generation we call COD-softers.
Right.
I
So,
think
and, you know, we've seen them where they come out there and talk a lot of crap and aren't necessarily good, but they, you know, kind of like the lobby in all your games, I guess.
I think it's fashionable to say that you like Battlefield, but I think Call of Duty still has the same market share it has before.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I stopped with the first Call of Duty. I haven't touched it since. So.
Alright.
Cool.
How do we get onto video games?
I don't know.
This is gonna be a lot of editing, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, it does it does transfer us to the next topic: types of players.
There it is. Right. Okay. So, yeah. You kick that one off.
Cool. Where are we going to? What's the actual question?
I think media drives airsoft, and in the context that airsoft evolves with whatever's popular at the time. Meaning,
Yeah.
right now, as we're recording this, Lone Survivor just came out, and I
Right.
see a lot more DMRs and Lone
Right.
Survivor kits. And it seemed like for a while, whatever new gun was in Call of Duty became the new gun that whatever company would make.
Right.
So it's veteran types.
Yeah, sure. So whatever's big out there in the public is going to be big. You're gonna.
Right.
It's all emulation, man. That's airsoft.
Yep.
Yeah. DCU 3 colors coming back. Watch out.
So I'm just crackhead.
So, types of players in Kansas City. Kansas City's
It's pretty
been a
varied.
yeah. You know, I'd say traditionally though, I'd say Kansas City's been a pretty strong hub for milsim.
Yeah.
The reason I say it's like the old Casey Airsoft days back up in Rushville. I mean, those were like, you know, if you didn't have your squad tight and you weren't running,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? And that was really, really milsim.
I remember when we hosted Harvest 1, good old Joe.
Mm-hmm. Earnhardt?
Old Joe, yeah.
Yeah.
He came out and he lectured me probably a good, 15, 20 minutes. The next year, Harvest 2, you guys need to have sub-channels when your comm matrices come out. I'm like, right on, Joe, It's like,
Yeah.
It's my first op.
Shout out, Joe, where you been?
Yeah.
I know you're watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, I think in any town, any area where airsoft's, somewhat popular, I think you're always going to have your contingency of solid, hardcore milsim guys.
Yeah. I mean, we started out just speedballing, dicking around,
Right.
and we gradually went on to the milsim stuff.
I remember watching you.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you out there.
So, just plinking around, KCAA, KCAC, frat. Sore subject.
Not really.
No, is that a USJTF?
TGI.
TGI Fridays.
USJTF Fridays. Whoever runs that page is a genius.
Shout out.
I think Kansas City Airsoft's waning and going into more of a speedball, codsofting type sport.
Back it up.
Meaning it's a more marketable thing. You get the young kids that come in. I think we all started airsoft to shoot our buddies with plastic BBs. I don't think we all started because we wanted to dress up and do. I think we started with paintball masks, almost all of us, and then immediately wanted to get the gear shortly after.
Yeah.
But with the influx of it becoming more popular, new kids coming in, that's all they can afford. There's a lot more interest than when I started out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's on the shelves at Walmart. And,
Right.
The big 3 sporting goods stores too. So.
And with the influx of Polar Star, I don't think we realize how big Polar Star might be.
I don't want to think about how big it's going to be quite honest. Command, Polar Stars. You guys see Justin Carroll's new video?
Yeah.
Put out?
That was like the fastest semi-auto I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
His trigger pull has to be like an eighth of an inch.
It's ridiculous.
There's a lucky lady out there somewhere waiting for Justin Carroll. Yeah, so back to what you were saying. Just finger blasting, dude. That's not in the video.
I thought because it was a short stroke trigger. I thought that
There are
was
like a
a joke.
million BBs on this floor.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Bubble rock.
I don't want over my head.
Skittle of the diddle.
Skiddly. Yeah, so back to what you were saying. Speedball type players. Yeah, I think everything's more readily available. You can go to Walmart and get somewhat of a competitive kit going. And that's awesome. You can't hate on that. It's definitely, advertising airsoft to the mass. And it's getting the sport out there. I think it's good for the sport and bad for the sport.
Yeah.
Kind of mixed emotions on that, but, that's Walmart. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm more on the bad for the sport personally. With as much just bad media as airsoft's getting as of late, and then irresponsible parents just going out and buying their kids their point and say, "Give me that,"
Right.
and they get it, and then no training, not necessarily training, but no, hey, don't point this at your brother's face, or don't point this at a cop, etc., etc. So, and it's a two-way street, I guess, but I don't know. That's just me.
I don't think it's a big issue. I think it's up to the players that want to play Milsim to keep Milsim alive.
Yeah.
As long as there's two different markets of airsoft, it really doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it. You know, Milsim's always been a self-thriving entity of itself, if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it goes back to like having a good op. It's with like-minded people. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
But then again, it's on the, because generally it's an older audience of player that play Milsim.
Yeah.
True.
But it's up to them.
That audience for Milsim though is getting younger, if you've noticed. There's a lot of wannabes who they jump into that IG, era and everything else and just go whole hardcore Milsim.
I think that's more of a hipster thing where they don't want to be associated with the COD software, so they automatically say that they're Milsim.
Yeah.
And play Milsim games, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, because really, I mean, we play AMS games, and though there's more structure than your standard open play, it's not.
It's Milsim like this JP.
It's no Eastwind at all.
Oh, God,
no.
That's not even Milsim. That's like fucking. Your ass is in the army for a week in Germany
You're out
after the
Swayze's
Cold War.
bitch for the week.
Right. Shout out Swayze. What's up, man?
Long time no see.
You see older players complain about the younger players a lot, but
You do.
as as long as airsoft's always a player-driven sport, I mean, it's going to stay up to the players to keep it going.
Yeah, across the board, no matter what kind of player you are.
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Living in perfect harmony with all these different... I mean, because, like, let's talk about, there's definitely your speed softers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this kind of... I use this term loosely. It's kind of a newer term, but like tax sim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, tax sim, this is kind of my, what I think defines it is, saying it's not really milsim, but like you can go somewhere and the tactics that you use is squad based. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think tax sim would more apply to like indoor CQB type stuff.
I think tech sim is basically, whereas open play is an individual player just wanting to be a badass. Tech sim is working with a team. And
Sure.
That.
Yeah, I think tax sim is like the happy medium between.
You implement real world, breach and clear, all that stuff.
Right.
But you're not cutting down to specific uniforms. You're not
Sure.
doing the type of.
And I'm sure somebody out there is going to correct us and tell us what tax sim really is.
Right.
Let us know.
There's always going to be everybody that disagrees for whatever reason. I mean, nobody's going to have the same answer about anything ever.
Sure. Yeah, man.
When you boil it all down, it's just grown men shooting BB guns at each other.
For each type of BBs.
That's about right.
Yay.
Okay.